What an honor it is to read this resolution today. Resolution recognizing April 2026 as Arab American Heritage Month in San Luis Obispo County. Whereas Arab American Heritage Month is recognized every April as a tribute to the valuable contributions and achievements of Arab Americans who have enriched our nation for over 200 years. And whereas Arab Americans have been integral in every aspect of society in San Luis Obispo County in medicine, law, business, education, arts, technology, government, and public health. And whereas since migrating to America, beginning in the 1800s, people of Arab descent have generously shared their rich cultures and traditions with all in San Luis Obispo County community, demonstrating their commitments to citizenship and public service. And whereas Arab Americans represent a diverse array of nationalities of origin, religions, and traditions originating from 22 Arabic-speaking countries, having brought with them their commitment to family and community, as well as their hard work ethic, hospitality, dedication to education, and diversity that have added strength to the San Luis Obispo community. And whereas Arab Americans have historically played and continue to play a critical role in America's social justice and human rights movements, and have also enriched our society by sharing in the democratic and entrepreneurial spirit in San Luis Obispo County. And whereas California is home to one of the largest Arab American populations in the nation, approximately 500,000, and the histories, contributions, and lived experience of Americans have often been overlooked or misunderstood due to harmful misconceptions, stereotyping, and discrimination in the forms of hate speech and other crimes. And whereas Arab Americans in San Luis Obispo County, like many other communities, have experienced discrimination, harmful stereotyping, and harassment, and reports indicate that incidents of bias have increased in connection with recent conflict in the Middle East, underscoring the importance of public education and community-based efforts that promote mutual understanding and respect. And whereas Arab Americans join with all of San Luis Obispo County in their shared pursuit of a free and democratic society grounded in equal protection, dignity, and security under the law. And whereas the contributions, heritage, and civic engagement of Arab Americans have strengthened our nation, state, and San Luis Obispo County, and whereas the San Luis Obispo County Board of Supervisors is committed to recognizing, supporting, and honor the contributions of Arab Americans in their professional and community roles, and to advance efforts that promote fair and positive outcomes for all. Now, therefore, be it resolved and ordered that the Board of Supervisors of the County of San Luis Obispo, State of California, does hereby recognize April 2026 as Arab American Heritage Month. We encourage the broader San Luis Obispo County community to join us in this special observance.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Arab American community of San Luis Obispo County, I'm deeply honored to accept this proclamation declaring April Arab American Heritage Month in San Luis Obispo County. To the Board of Supervisors, to Chairman Paulding, and to all the elected officials and community leaders presented today, shukran jazilan. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. This proclamation is not merely a piece of paper. It is an act of recognition. It says you are seen. You belong. Your story is part of our story. For a community that has too often been defined by others, by headlines, by stereotypes, by politics of distant conflicts, being seen clearly and celebrated warmly by the county we call home means more than words can easily express. I also want to acknowledge that a proclamation like this does not happen without advocates, without people who knock on doors, make phone calls, show up to meetings, and insist that their community deserves a seat at the table. To everyone who worked to make this moment possible, this honor belongs to you. And now, with this proclamation in hand, let's talk about why it matters and who it honors. April is Arab American Heritage Month, a time to honor, celebrate, and reflect on the profound contributions of Arab Americans to the life of this nation. I want to start not with statistics, not with names of the famous, but with something simple. A cup of coffee shared between neighbors, a doctor who stayed late to see one more patient, a farmer who coaxed crops from difficult soil, a student who sat in a classroom not far from here and dared to dream in two languages at once. That is the Arab American story. It is a story of people who crossed oceans and deserts, who carried with them the civilizational inheritance of thousands of years, mathematics, medicine, poetry, philosophy, astronomy, and who planted all of that into the soil of this country and made it bloom. Arab Americans have been part of the United States since the late 19th century. The first major wave of Arab immigrants, largely from what is now Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine, arrived between the 1880s and the 1920s. They came as peddlers and merchants, as dreamers and survivors. They worked hard and assimilated and contributed. Today, there are an estimated 3.7 million Arab Americans living across the United States, though many researchers believe the true number is closer to double that due to census undercounting. They come from over 22 countries spanning North Africa and the Middle East. They are Muslim, Christian, Jews, Druze, and secular. They speak Arabic at home and English at work, and many speak both with equal grace. And in California holds one of the largest Arab American populations in the country. From the Yemeni farm workers of the Central Valley who picked the fruit on your table, to Lebanese entrepreneurs of Los Angeles who built entire industries, to the Palestinian professors at UC campuses who shaped generations of thinkers, Arab Americans are inseparable from California's identity. In tech and entrepreneurship, Arab Americans helped build Silicon Valley, from co-founding companies to leading engineering teams. Their fingerprints are on the devices you carry in your pockets today. And in education, Arab American scholars have filled the faculties of California's universities, teaching law, engineering, literature, public health, and the arts, training the next generation of Californians to lead. And here, right here in San Luis Obispo, that same spirit is alive. Arab Americans have been part of the Central Coast community for decades. They have opened businesses on Higuera Street and worked the farmlands of the Edna Valley. They have enrolled at Cal Poly and Cuesta College, studied engineering and agriculture and business, and gone on to careers that serve this region and this state. They have joined faith communities, civic organizations, and neighborhood associations. They have coached Little League and volunteered at food banks. They have been your neighbors, your colleagues, your doctors, your friends. San Luis Obispo may be a smaller community than Los Angeles or San Francisco, but is no less shaped by the diversity of those who choose to make it home. When an Arab American family opens a restaurant here and feeds this community, when an Arab American student graduates from Cal Poly and builds a career on the Central Coast, when an Arab American professional serves on the local board or committees, they are writing Arab American history right here in this county, in this city, in this community. The Central Coast story is incomplete without them. And today, with this proclamation, San Luis Obispo County has said so officially, publicly, and proudly. Now, I want to make sure that this proclamation does not just live on paper. I want to invite every member of this board and everyone in this room today to experience Arab American culture and heritage firsthand. Right here in our town, in our own community this very month. First, please visit the Mautini installation at the San Luis Obispo County Library. Mautini, which means my homeland in Arabic, is a powerful exhibition that brings the Arab American story to life through art, memory, and identity. It's open now during library hours and is free. I promise you, you will not walk away unchanged. And second, mark your calendars for Saturday, April 25th. when our community will come together for a cultural festival celebrating Arab American heritage. There will be music, food, art, and most importantly, people. Our people, your neighbors. Come eat with us, dance with us, learn with us. That is what community looks like. That is what this proclamation makes possible. To the members of the board, your presence at either of these events would mean the world to our community. It would say in the most tangible way possible that this proclamation is not a gesture, it is a relationship. Mm-hmm. This proclamation is a beginning, not an end. It is a commitment by this county and this community to ensuring that Arab American children growing up right here in San Luis Obispo are themselves reflected in our civic life, our celebrations, and our history. It is a promise that when we tell the story of this county, we will include the Arab American farmer, the Arab American student, the Arab American business owner, and the Arab American neighbor. It is about building a county where every person, regardless of where they or their parents were born, has the full freedom to contribute, to belong, and to thrive. Today's proclamation is a step, a meaningful, important step in that direction. I will close with a phrase that captures that this month and this moment is really about, in Arabic, in Hebrew, and in English, because our region carries all of these voices. كلنا معا in Arabic, كلنا أحد in Hebrew, together we are one. Arab Americans did not come to this country to change it into something else. They came, as every immigrant community has come, to add their thread to the American tapestry. A tapestry stronger, richer, and more beautiful precisely because of its diversity. This April, San Luis Obispo County has honored that thread. We are grateful, we are proud, and we are home. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Asal. Thank you, Dr. Asal. Are there any members of the public that would wish to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the board. Close public comment, bring it back to the board. And Supervisor Gibson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, in a county like San Luis Obispo, it takes a minute sometimes to see the Arab American population, but it's been my honor and my pleasure to have been connected with quite a number of its members over the years. My regards to Ms. Saruf, who couldn't be with us today and who really got this going. I know she and Vicky Tamouche sitting here are community activists. I know others who have put together wonderful events seeking an understanding among people who are of very diverse backgrounds. And I have a friend in the audience who has shown me extraordinary personal kindness in a very challenging time in my life. So to all of you, thank you, and look forward to the chance to drop in on this event as able, and we'll celebrate. Thank you.
Supervisor Ortiz-Lake.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we're doing this today and that you're all here. I thought the proclamation was really well written. I really appreciated the aspects regarding harmful stereotyping and misunderstanding of a culture that I think has been wronged in so many ways. I would note that I think there's a couple of things missing in it, though. I think we didn't really highlight food, which is such an important part and a really fantastic part of culturally of this region. And then also the contributions to this country during World War II are significant. Our campaigns in Northern Africa would not be successful without our relationships with all the countries of the Arab. And then going back further, you know, deep contributions to the entire society, even into European influences. Without mathematics, which established there, we wouldn't have what we have in our technology world. And, you know, your note of people like Steve Jobs having a Syrian father and others, there's just so much that's missed in the marketing of a people. And I think it's really important that we start doing this better to provide that information so people really understand the true contributions of a really great and wonderful folks. So we look forward to celebrating you further. Thank you.
Supervisor Pichon.
I just want to thank you for lifting the Arab American community up in our county. Really appreciate all you do, and that you add a lot of visibility to it, so thank you.
Supervisor Moreno.
Yes, I appreciate you highlighting the experience and the contributions and sharing that with all of us, and for the invitation. Thank you.
And I'll just conclude with the fact that this board can recognize Arab American Heritage Month is an honor, and we're very proud to be able to make that recognition. I'll share one quick story. In my prior career in construction management, a gentleman by the name of Mohammed Habal was my boss. He was from Lebanon. Texas A&M graduate, brought the leading state-of-the-art construction management tools, techniques to our area, actually helped build this building that we sit in today. And he was just an incredibly brilliant, talented person. I think spoke 5 languages. He was also quite a boss. He that hard work ethic was instilled in me, and I owe him a debt of gratitude, and may he rest in peace. But that's just an example of the wonderful contributions that we've seen from the Arab American people here in our community. So thank you so much.